Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. So delighted that you're here. Thank you so much, sisters. I'm loving having you here in our masterclass, our 3-day challenge, which you can attend 1, 2, or 3, or get the recordings, of course. And we know that our sisters and our brothers are watching the recording on our YouTube channel, on the C-Suite Network, Women's Coaching and Consulting Council. We're so delighted to have such a wealth of content now, and we get to showcase, highlight, and promote our coaches, our esteemed faculty members. So thank you. Yes, and our topic for our challenge is all about how to have an AI-powered corporate coaching business. And so glad you're here, and I'd like to pause at certain times to get your point of view on this, and of course, always get your voices in. And so I'm Kathleen Caldwell, founder of this marvelous council. It is my joy to be able to highlight and promote our coaches. And because I think coaching is the answer to a lot of the world's challenges. And you all know that my stand is, with now over 8 billion people on the planet, half of them or so are adults, maybe even a little bit more. So that puts us maybe about 4 billion people on the planet. And we got a lot of people to coach up. There's a lot of opportunity in the world. And I think everyone deserves to have an ally, a cheerleader, a supporter, a trusted advisor, a coach on their side. And so coaches, we have a lot of work to do. We got to get very busy with 4 billion plus people. Yes. So thank you. I'm a Kathleen Caldwell, a speaker, an author, a coach for a long time, since 1998. I went to the second International Coach Federation conference in Greenleaf, Florida, during a hurricane. We were very, very committed back then. So I am committed back in 1998, just as committed today about coaching. And I've had the great opportunity and privilege to be a coach, be the executive coach and team coaches for a variety of very large companies, Fortune companies, but also a lot of small local regional companies. And so what I love to promote is this whole concept of glocal. Have a global business, but also a local business. So literally you can get in your car, you can drive within 100 miles, and you can be working with your local businesses. And get that one-to-one relationship, but also with a global business with Zoom, we can be anywhere all the time with our business. So I wanted to mention that to you because I have a lot of experience and a lot of passion about coaching. And, we've heard this, the opportunity is real. And why the timeliness of our program to me is so important is, with what's happening in corporate America, we're hearing and seeing all kinds of stories about layoffs and turnover and reorganizations post-COVID. And specifically for women, this is a real challenge because, we are taking on so many opportunities, if you will, being a career person, perhaps starting a side business, maybe being a parent, being a partner, caregiving for our parents. And so we're stretched really thin. And so having the opportunity for us to coach up these women is such a privilege. And so there's opportunities for coaching outside of the corporation, but also, as I'm going to mention in a minute, within the corporation. So the dynamics in coaching are compelling. And we all know that as a corporate coach, your fees, your income is literally double that of people who have created the title of life coaching. And so I didn't put a slide in here, but I just wanted to quickly put in here that business coaching, as we know, is exploding. It is a huge, huge market. And corporations do not have the staff or the team members or even the expertise to train and develop their internal people. HR, we know they're stretched to the maximum. And so HR, it's very hard for them to be the coach, but also be the HR expert and handle payroll and handle, benefits and all the things that they're dealing with. So corporations are keen on hiring external coaches. So big, big opportunity. So our theme today is all about the corporate coaching challenge and how to use AI. And tomorrow we're going to spend more time on the AI component of this to really get into how do we leverage AI in the work we're doing as a corporate coach. But I think this is really about unlocking the corporate coaching code, because there is a code in how to get in. There's a code on how to stay in as a coach and how to thrive. And those coaches who don't know the code have a difficult time. So we're going to talk about a couple of those codes in a moment. And I want to just bring up a couple slides about what's happening from what I'm seeing and what I'm experiencing. Is I just got a new strategic planning opportunity with a very large corporation in the Midwest. And I'm going to be doing strategic planning with their leadership team, but also their board of directors. And so, you know, with this opportunity, it's a very lovely mid-5-figure opportunity. And it's just great because that opens the door for then, after the strategic planning, they're going to say, hey, how do we implement this plan? The opportunity to go in and to work with their teams and their leadership groups. So it's so exciting and so wonderful, because corporations are hiring coaches and consultants for, you can see the list on the screen. I mean, I could literally have about 5 screens of things why corporations are hiring coaches and consultants. But mainly what I'm also hearing is that wellness, of course, is a very new area, and hiring coaches and consultants to help come in and help their employees stay well, be well, well thinking, well acting, performance enhancement when it comes to work. So I'd love to pause here for a moment, get your point of view. And of course, you know, honestly, I don't even know that I put on this list well, I've got leadership, but of course, leadership development goes into so many different areas. And so it's such an important component for the retention and the engagement and the utilization of all that great human capital, people's performance. I'd love to pause here for a moment and see, what is it that you're seeing? What are you seeing that corporations are really prioritizing now in their workplace? How are they using coaches and consultants? So I'd love to get your point of view on here for just a moment. Yeah. What are you seeing? Because I know, Gloria, you and your corporation, you've got a very robust leadership development curriculum. What are you seeing that people are reporting back? Why is coaching so important to them now?
Yeah, it is curious. I think it is more from a leader perspective that coaching is important than an overall organization perspective. We've been, what I've done is I've done some coaching, hired by corporations to help coach some leaders who have challenges, and that's not always the ideal environment, because people are told they have to go to coaching. So one client, I had 2 of those, and one that was a next level kind of coaching. But I got to tell you, the biggest desire has been from individual leaders who come to our workshops who want more support. They're young leaders early in their career. They don't have much experience. I can think of one guy specifically who was promoted to VP. Well, I mean, he takes, notes. He will, pick your brain in the workshop. He's taken more notes than anybody. So I see a real hunger more from young leaders than I do from the corporate side of things wanting coaching for their leaders. Sadly, I wish it were, I wish the corporations wanted it as much as the individual leaders did.
Well, great, Gloria. And I think that this whole theme for me is always, it's relative to the Pareto principle, is that 80% of our clients, really those clients are making up a large majority of the corporations. Perhaps they're the 20% out there that really are pulling in the external coaches, because they know they need to retain those great leaders, and they don't have the capacity to do that inside. I mean, I think if they had those leadership programs, maybe they would have started them in their company. So their leaders are looking elsewhere, right?
Yeah. And I would just sort of add on, like, one corporate experience is, it's a large company. We've done training for them. They've set up their employee resource groups, women's groups, Latino groups, veterans groups and that kind of thing. And one thing that they've done a nice job with and that's been important to them is the ongoing learning. So they host webinars and bring in guest speakers, like us, like other people, to focus on a skill enhancement. And they get really good viewership as a result of that. So they're creating more of an environment where people are wanting to learn more and go, gosh, I can tune in for 45 minutes, hear some good thoughts and observations, ask some questions. So it's not personalized one-on-one coaching, but it's still coaching from the standpoint of I get good knowledge, good nuggets, and maybe get a question answered as well.
What great insights. And I also love that you pointed out is that your ideal clients are also looking for community. They're looking for like-minded people. And, perhaps they're not finding their colleagues, the most nurturing or the most, helpful, so to speak, that they're looking perhaps outside of the corporation for community. And you are certainly creating that too.
It's fun
Strategy.
to work with companies that you know the people and you really like. So
Really great. Yes. And I think that it's I could put so many things in our content for today, but also I think that smart employees know that they've got to be planning for their next position, whether it's inside the corporation, the organization, or outside. So very wise to be building those relationships with others that are like-minded, supportive, great people. So working on their career at the same time they're working on their skills, right?
indeed.
Yeah. Beautiful. Thank you. Really good. Good. Sheila, would you like to jump in what you're seeing? Because you have a broad look at so many different companies with all of your great relationships on
Yeah.
LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram and all that. Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the trends I'm seeing is with sales teams. A lot of corporations we're all trying to get business and trying to be visible in that crowded space. And so a lot of corporations really are looking into that personal branding aspect. And how are those personal brands tied back into that corporate brand, and how does that elevate that corporate brand? So that's one thing I'm seeing. A lot of sales teams. And I get quite a few calls for corporations that really struggle with how their employees are showing up for work and how they're showing up for work on Zoom even. So whether it's an internal meeting or external meeting, I think we're still trying to navigate what that looks like and what is that dress code. And with diversity, equity, inclusion, and all that, it's, how do you allow people to show up? So that's become a hot topic. And so they're trying to bring in consultants or coaches that can help them navigate that, visual from a visual standpoint, as well as all the other psychological things and in the legal aspects of all that. So I do feel like corporations are looking, right? And then how you mentioned talent's a big the number one thing a lot of times for corporations is, how do I retain this talent? What can I offer my staff or employees from a personal skill development? Because that's why a lot of people leave as well. Is they don't get they don't have a career path with that company. They haven't been trained in leadership skills. They don't have that. So if you can offer that to that company can offer that, I think that's a certainly something that helps that company stand out, right? That's something that's really vital for them. And so they're not leaving to go get that someplace else. So if you can provide that internally, that's a way to stand out.
How brilliant. I mean, I'm taking away from what you said also is alignment with the corporate brand and engagement with the brand. And also, as we all know, and if you're watching the replay, you know this too, is ping pong tables only go so far. So, values and benefits and really that all inness. How do we help corporations get their employees to experience being all in and the resources and the tools to do it? And so brand alignment, I mean, Sheila, you have lifetimes worth of opportunity here. It's really exciting, isn't it? Yeah. To show up also as the best. Yeah.
And I love too the second part of that married with the first part, because I think it's a slippery slope for organizations to, and I know that they're nervous about how do they talk to people about how they show up, how do we preserve individuality but support the company brand. And that's a lot easier to do when you're thinking about the whole retention side of things as well, because then it really does promote and reinforce the win-win side of everything, not just conformity. So it's perfect marriage.
Yeah. And if you're bringing in an outside expert, right, a coach or a consultant, it's much easier for that message to be received versus the CEO doubling down on this is how you have to do it.
Right.
But the initiative is, this is the direction we want to go. We know we need help. We're going to bring in an expert for all of us to learn. That's such an opportunity for a lot of coaches and consultants. They're hungry, right? Our companies are hungry.
That's nice. That's nice to see.
So sisters, let's feed them. If they're so hungry, and they are, yeah. And as we all know, if you're bringing in the suitcase from the out of town engagement, I'm sorry, I got a little hair here. Life's in session here, girls and boys. Yes. If you're bringing in the suitcase or the briefcase from out of town, you're automatically deemed the expert. So let's leverage that and get more on that. So really good. Yes. So I think we've certainly made the case that corporations are ready. And now, are we going to work with every company on the planet? Probably not. But I believe this is also really linking into what I wanted to share and engage with you on next, is picking and choosing who we really want to work with and what's the value proposition, and how do we then, day 2 is also going to be how to get in, the specifics on how to get in, specifically if we've not worked with a client before in this sector, in this area. Maybe they're even thinking about a little intimidating. How do we go about the approach and the whole marketing and sales campaign? But today, focusing in on kind of more about what's our why, and of course, where's the opportunity. So just looking at this list, there are so many things that we can be in service. And again, as you all know, the melding between the coach consultant, it's really getting more and more diffused. And, the line between being a coach and being a consultant, quite honestly, I don't know that the individuals or the teams in corporations really care. They want to get their problem solved. They want to move ahead. They want solutions and they want results. So whatever label we put on, and you'll see oftentimes we put coach/consultant because we're doing different things at different times. And so how then do coaches and consultants, how do we add value in organizations? This also leads to associations and nonprofits in every depth and breadth of corporations. And I just use that term loosely. So, of course, as you were speaking, Gloria, and Sheila speaking in retreat, strategic planning, team building, leadership development, boards, the list goes on and on and on. And what I also love is I do a lot of work with their supply chain. And so this is a really underserved area, is that once you're in the corporation, you've got these great relationships, you've been building relationships, trust, connection, value at every level, not only at the top, but all throughout the organization. It's lovely to then, and really nice to go into their supply chain. Who are their vendors that would love to work with you as a trusted advisor? And so really thinking more globally, thinking more 3-dimensionally about the work you can do. It's pretty narrow to think I'm going to work with this one team, this one group in this one area, when so many opportunities exist. And so I get really excited about that. I hope you're excited too, because, they want to have, if they're a company with multiple locations, multiple divisions, Sheila was talking about sales, but what about, finance? What about legal? What about, vendor relationships? All kinds of different departments and divisions could really be benefiting. So, it's really a corporate transformational opportunity, which is really great. A whole organization, really exciting. And with my clients, I'm generally working with my clients, my corporate clients, from anywhere to 1 year. I've been working with one particular client for 10 years. And so we just keep finding new opportunities and we keep having more fun. We keep getting great results. New people are coming in. Other people are leaving and moving to other companies. And so staying related and connected to those people that were working at company X, but when they move to company Y, you can then go on over there and work with them. So it's thrilling, I think. And I hope you're excited too, because this is great. Yes. So unlocking I think I've created this body of work, and I think that unlocking this corporate code, again, is knowing what to do, where to do it, how to do it, to be able to be a trusted advisor and a partner really in corporations. I think it's important also to stop and think, why is this important to you? And it's not only that we have a diversified income, but also as a coach consultant, we've got a diversified client base. It's a lot more interesting when we're working with a variety of people and we get to stretch ourselves and stretch our opportunities. And, researching, and really it makes our careers and our business a lot more fun when we're doing different things. But we've got a narrow focus as well, but stretching. And, just having a variety of options and engagements. What I learned from the 2007, 2008 recession was I was solely focused on financial institutions, banks, mortgage companies, finance. And then with the 2008 recession, all of that business went away. So literally within 60 days, I got the notice that our training and development, our coaching budget, our budget has been slashed, because unfortunately, those were the things that got slashed first. Sadly enough, it was really the thing that they needed the most during this transition. And so I learned a great lesson to never be focused in on one particular market. Diversify your business. Okay. And, having more interesting clients at different levels, more challenging opportunities, and opportunities to really make a bigger impact and a contribution to our clients. Some of my most enjoyable relationships are corporate clients that I've worked with, my goodness, 15, 17, 20 years ago, that they've moved on to like 5 different jobs, but we're still connected. We're still friends. We're still talking about the opportunity of me coming into their company. And so, it's fun to do. Okay. Point of view for each of you. What would you say is your big why? Is it a calling for you? Is it, obviously it's strategic for you, but thinking about what your big why is. Feel free to jump in if you'd like to share.
For me, it's really just a personal passion. So it is that, wanting to make a difference, and the work world can be, it's so steeped in tradition and locked in the way they've always, the corporate world has always done things, and it can be so much better. It can be so much more of a win-win. So for me, it's that, personal passion to make a difference, make a difference for one leader at a time, one company at a time. And, it's an ideal job if you can make some money doing what you love.
Satisfying, isn't it, Gloria?
Very much
Yes.
so.
And there's nothing better for me really than when I hear my corporate clients, or really any client, say, this is what I was dealing with. And that one session that we had made all the difference, because then I went in and did X, had the conversation, dealt with something that I was not dealing with. And here's now the impact. It's so heartwarming to be able to do that. I think it's a life purpose, as you're saying, and a passion. Yeah. Gloria, I'm sure that happens to you frequently. Sheila, the transformation you're able to make,
Yeah, and you had asked me this question the other day, and I'm still thinking through that because it's such a great question, and we really need to figure out what is that? Why are we doing what we do? Besides, we love it, we're passionate about it. But a thing that came to mind last night was restorative, right? It's this, there's this sense of restoring maybe what's inside of me when I'm working with a client. It's getting that client, restorative, for them, or transformation, or whatever that is. So I'm not sure where that word is going, but I do feel like there's something with that, on why we do what we do, right? It feeds us, it restores us, our soul or our heart somehow, and it helps that person that we're coaching or consulting with. It helps restore things that are within them as well.
Great.
Nice, nice, really beautiful. And I think also, Sheila, you really help people reclaim their power and their passion and their purpose as well, because oftentimes their exterior, really dictates how they're feeling inside, and how they're feeling inside. It's how they're looking, their brand, their image, their actions, all of that, which then translates, Gloria, to their leadership or not, right? Yeah, yeah, really great, really, really great. So for all of you watching the replay, I'd love to just pause and say, this is really an important part of our whole broadcast today, is getting clear about your why, and your why now, because the timeliness of our why, to be able to communicate that, and I'm always working on that as well, but to be able to then integrate small, short stories about your why, demonstrating your why, is going to differentiate you as a coach consultant. And I'd like to just pause and say that, another story that I just am thinking that I quickly want to share is one of my executive clients from 10 years ago. We're still in great relationship. She mentioned to me something that I didn't even realize, is that I asked her a coaching question really about her why and her why now. And it was a very personal matter, because we had built a beautiful connected relationship. I'd earned the right to ask her a very deep question and be vulnerable, and she was vulnerable. And the answer to that question was, she was making a decision whether to expand her family or not. And it was a major life decision for this woman. And she made the decision, and her whole life changed in a very positive way. And still to this day, she now has a teenager, who is the living representation of that one critical decision that she made in a coaching session in an afternoon, so that 55 minutes that we had made the difference and resulted in something really powerful. I have chills because it's so amazing. We'll never know the power of our relationship to our clients. And so this is not a transactional kind of thing. This is really important stuff. Yeah. And if you have something to share, feel free to jump in, and we're going to finish up here in just a moment. That it's not just a transactional coaching relationship. It can be, but it's certainly not for me, and certainly not for you. I'm sure it's much more important than that.
And I think it comes to part of the other thing is that it comes to, we help people with accountability, right? And that is helping give, you talk about giving people back their power, and that's what accountability is. And part of what is so beautiful about coaching is you get a chance to, Kathleen, as you described, even asking those tough questions, or those deep questions, or the tough questions, because you're helping people sort through a challenge, whether it be a professional challenge or opportunity, a conflict at work. And it's the reminder of, you can't always change the situation. But you have a choice in how you respond. And, coaching is really helping people with choices, and choices is where accountability and power come from, the confidence. So it's, that just sort of, clicked with me, and it, contributes to the why.
Beautiful. Thank you, Gloria. Yes. And can you see also that, that one question and the answer to that question completely changed this person's life but it was not a question that, nor a conversation that she felt comfortable having with her male executive leader or manager, supervisor, leadership. She couldn't have that question because it would have had implications, not that she was being dishonest, but it would have had implications up and beyond her career. And so, having that trusted relationship with a coach, whether we're hired by the corporation or we're hired by the employee, having that kind of relationship, it's really a sacred relationship, and it's a sacred, wonderful journey that we get to go on. So there we go. Yeah. Yes. And I don't know that that's really talked about much, but you can count on the fact I will be talking about more of that in my my next programs. So yeah. So as we complete our time here, looking at what's your why is it important for you to pursue this? And also to think about the impact that you can make on teams, on leaders, on all kinds of different corporations. A lot of times people think that corporations are just the big fortune accounts that we see advertised on TV and, online. No, corporations are all different sizes. I mean, the Small Business Development, the Small Business Association administration in our government has really classified corporations in so many different areas. So today's intention is to have us think more broadly about the opportunities and to kind of think in your mind, from a business perspective, where do I feel the most aligned? And also geographically speaking, what type of corporations are in your backyard? Because, doing business locally is so easy because you can build up your credibility, be involved on boards of directors, nonprofits, do all kinds of work with colleagues. And the colleagues with you on boards are generally senior executives in your local community. That's exactly what I found. And so doing good together helps you easily get into corporations. Okay. And so, thinking as we continue on, but not only your why, but your type of business that you'd like to get in is just really thinking about where do you have the experience? Where in your life do you have experience that you can bring to bear? What are you passionate about? What's your point of view? What solutions do you have? And of course, your coach will help you work through these types of answers. And of course, our Women's Coaching and Consulting Council, these are the conversations that we have in our council. So, get in an environment where you're served as a coach so you can do bigger and better things. And thinking about, in your life experience, in your training, in your education, in your communities, where do you add value? And oftentimes we're going to be, it's really important to utilize other relationships. So you will see in our council, we're going to be doing more affiliate relationships, more joint venture partnerships, bringing in our partners and sisters, not to pull away business from us, but to expand the pie. Okay. And even bake more pies. Okay. So thinking beyond the work that you're doing, how can you bring in your trusted partners and perhaps have a relationship where you get a compensation, you get a small percentage or fee as a finder's fee. So many different options. So thinking about that. And then, finally here, why are we doing the work we're doing? Well, why do corporations hire us? And ultimately, why do people hire us? Is looking at the results. What problems are we solving in a corporation? Who really owns these problems, so to speak? What solutions do we have? We're going to talk about this more tomorrow, but thinking about the frameworks you have, the systems, the tools, the assessments, specialized knowledge training. You may not have all of this overnight, but it's important to have those things because having a trusted system gives corporations the confidence that you know what you're doing, you're able to deliver, and you've got a framework that the employees can lean into. And of course, your experience and your results with other clients too. So I'm putting a lot out there for you to think about, but again, who owns the problems? Who and what can you do? What's in your toolbox or your tool belt to help them? And This is can be so overwhelming, but it's not meant to be. It's more to say, here's the opportunities we have in corporate. We've got so many different divisions, so many different departments. Sheila, you brought up in sales and marketing, but Gloria also, I think, as well that, purchasing and production and, all kinds of human resources, of course, our sisters and brothers in HR, they can't do it all. They need our help. And so there's so much opportunity in corporations. And so the common denominator as we complete our time together is with all of this, all these data points, all these PowerPoint slides, the common denominator with all of this is within corporations, it's the people, okay? Serve the people. It's individuals that are working, they're working for their paycheck, for their compensation. They're doing it for a purpose and a reason. Work is good. Work is worthy. Work is important. It gives people a purpose to go to work and to do things where they're exchanging value. It's community, it's fulfillment, it's so many different things to people. And so as a coach consultant, we're really not serving the company per se. Yes, technically we may be signing contracts with the corporation, but we're doing work with the people. We're serving the people in corporations. And so as we complete, I'd love to leave you, since we are doing a challenge, and hope you come back tomorrow. We're going to talk about the specifics on how to get into corporations, how to make contact, how to start the process, how to begin the engagement with corporations. Love for you to be thinking about today as we complete is making a list of what are the problems what are the problems that you can help them? Communication, conflict, image, for even things like retention, engagement. There's so many different problems that we help people solve. People feeling conflict and unable to resolve it. I mean, the myriad of issues is endless. And thinking about then, the impact of these problems. What could be the impact of conflict, of people leaving, of corporations not being able to hire the right people? Ultimately, customers and clients at the end of the supply chain are impacted. The economy is impacted. The world is impacted. So thinking about the impact of these problems. And of course, what do you do? What is it that you've got in your toolbox that will help them solve these problems? And so I just highly recommend making a list of problems, and, we'll be thinking too about what's the impact if those problems are not solved, what's the implication, and what is winding it down to the very end to really find the pain points. Okay. So this will help you when you are considering the next step to either get into new corporations or expand the work you're currently doing is what are the problems that you solve? And of course, as Jeffrey Hazlett with the C-Suite Network always talks about, what are the conditions of satisfaction? Yes. And so let's get out there. Let's make a difference with our clients, with these beautiful, beautiful folks who may feel that they're confused, lost, unsure, uncertain. They need our support, and we are uniquely qualified to give it to them. And so today I recommend and highly encourage you to take some action. Make a list of the problems that you solve. And, this may be onerous to think about problems, but on the other side of the problem is the solution. Okay, so let's think about what we can help our clients do. Okay, and of course, the time is now. Now more than ever, our corporations, our colleagues in corporate, our brothers and sisters, our warriors are looking for us. Let's get them coached up. These are corporate warriors. They need us, and together we can make a positive difference. So as we complete, I'm just wondering what your biggest takeaway is from our time together, and perhaps a next step if you feel comfortable with that. What's a takeaway that you have from our time together? Thank you.
This is Desiree. I just want to thank you. All of this was a big takeaway for me. I guess I shouldn't share my camera. I'm at work, but I'll share my camera.
Thank you, dear.
Thank you.
You.
I am in the beginning stages of starting a coaching business. I have a human resources background. I'm a director of human resources. I'm a people development, excuse me. And I think my biggest takeaway was at the end when you said, you know, what problems are you trying to solve? And I guess I never really thought about that. Some people, both professionally and personally, come to me for so many things, so much advice. And so that has given me, I was taking copious notes while you were speaking, but that was giving me some food for thought and some things that I need to think about as I haven't even gotten my LLC yet. I'm really in the beginning of this, but it's given me some things to think about. So all of this, I was going to put in the chat, all of this has been very helpful.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, it's clear that you are going to be highly successful and you have a unique point of view and you understand from the trenches, dear. So congratulations to you. This is exciting. Really exciting.
Thank you.
Good for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
And human resource, my background is human resources too. And I'm so with you. Human resources is such a great fit to launch into coaching because people come for problems, advice, counsel, all of that stuff. So it's a natural fit and you've got the skills already as a result of that to be able to launch and do it. Yeah. And I'm with you because I think, takeaway for me, even though I'm doing this, is just the reminder of those last questions of, what problems are we solving? What's the impact? And what are the results? And you can never think about that too much or feel like you've got it. It's one of those things that's a frequent reevaluation.
Very nice. Great. And of course, we could be asking we're always asking those questions of our clients too, to build the relationship and deepen it. So yes. So thank you. Thank you. We're completing at 52 after the hour. And the number 52 means new beginnings, new adventures, and new freedom. No kidding. So with that, hope to see you tomorrow, same time. We're going to talk about how to actually get in, the strategies, the steps that you can do to get in to your ideal clients. So with that, lots of love for now. Thank you. Loved having you here. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye for now.